Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing my RWBY Volume 5, Episode 8, Chapter 8 review. This was a really good overall episode. I thought it took the plot along very well. So let's talk about this. There are a lot of things we're gonna have to talk about too, about certain things that happen that I know are probably gonna be over exaggerated, but we're gonna talk about them anyways. But first, let's talk about how this episode starts out. We have Yang basically looking at RWBY, because RWBY's like laying down, and Yang's just what's up, sis, and they're talking for a little bit here, reconnecting basically, because they haven't seen each other for a while. You get Weiss coming into the frame, and she has a tray with 3 coffee cups. She hands one to Yang, and then she hands one to Weiss, or not. Weiss then Weiss then hangs hands one to RWBY and tells her, "Don't worry, I put a lot of sugar and cream into the coffee." And she's like, she's about to say thank you in a weird kind of way, and Weiss says, "Don't do it, or I will pour this all over you right now." So then they start drinking the coffee, and then they eventually get to a point where they talk about Blake, because they haven't had a full reunion because Blake wasn't there. And then, they talk about how, she left or whatever. Yang is just very distraught about it. And she, how she just, she made her choice to leave, and then she just goes into the bedroom or whatever. Now, this was a very discreet moment, and I know this is going to be interpreted in different ways, but once Weiss goes into, or not Weiss, actually, no, yeah, she does, but once Yang goes into the bedroom, they show her looking at a picture of all 4 members of RWBY, which I think was very symbolic that, she's upset that the whole team is divided right now, because right now there's 3 people that are reunited and Blake's not there, and she misses her as a teammate, as well as everyone else does. Now I use this because of what is stated, as interpreted as a team moment, because I know a lot of people are going to think that this was a romantic shipping moment, because there are a lot of Bumblebee shippers out there. But the thing with this is this was you gotta remember, the last time all 4 of these girls were together, they got their asses handed to them, and of course Yang lost her arm, unfortunately. And Yang has gone through this depression for a long time now because of what happened. She had no arm for a while, and she was not doing anything for a while. She still hasn't fully got her confidence back, because she has her, she always shakes her arm and stuff, as we've seen her with the bartender. Yang's just, in this bedroom, and she's looking at the picture, of all 4 members, because, she misses Team RWBY together and stuff like that. And then you see Weiss come in, but of course, first Yang just assumes it's RWBY, her sister. But that's not the case at all. It ends up being Weiss, and Weiss ends up having a sit-down conversation with Yang, and Yang's like, "Look, I had to go through, this, of my my mom leaving and then Ruby's mom leaving, which was kind of weird because I thought Ruby's mom had passed away. Well, I think he did, but obviously she left before it happened, I guess. So Yang had to rely on herself while, taking care of Ruby, which is really kind of weird too, because where's the father? Like, the father was there, so I mean, they weren't completely alone, as Yang makes it sound. But so you got the two in the frame here, and then you get Yang in the frame, and then you get Weiss. She talks about how basically her father only married her mother to basically get the fortune or whatever. And she finally admitted it on Weiss's birthday. Which, that really sucks, actually. My whole question to this is like, if she married him and she had the fame and fortune, couldn't she have just divorced him? I mean, obviously Raven divorced, maybe not so much Raven, but obviously Yang's father divorced Raven to marry Ruby's mother, Summer. So that was the one thing I was questioning about this, was like, well, couldn't she have just broken off with him? I guess she must have really loved him, because she was like, she was always devastated. I guess, she she must have really loved him, I guess. And maybe that's why she didn't break up with him. But obviously she has a name before him, so I don't really understand that. But she talks about how she was basically not able to do that much, and Yang says, "I'm sorry, I just assumed," and then Weiss just basically says that my story's still not nearly as bad as yours, but she always says that I miss Blake too, and they talk about why she had to leave. We would have protected her. We were fine. We didn't care about that stuff, and she's Weiss said she had to do what she had to do, and she talks about basically them eventually getting back together, hopefully, and that Weiss basically says that you guys are like all family to me, and you guys are more familiar than me than to my brother and my father, and I would do anything for you guys. So then after that, Ruby comes in, and so they're pretty much all happy for each other, and it was such a good, it was a team moment, and I want people to understand this, because I think a lot of people are going to interpret this as a Yang ship with Blake, and I'm glad. I'm going to get to the next scene in a moment here, but I'm glad they did it this way, because I know most ships that do become canon anyways, I don't know, the only ship so far that is canon officially really right now is the Nora and Ren canon, or the Ren and Nora, based on what they did in the last season, holding hands the way they did twice, but that's the only ship that's really canon at this point, and this felt like a really good team moment, which I was really happy for, but I just want people to understand it, because I think a lot of Bumblebee people are going to be like all over this and say that this was a Yang moment, and it wasn't. It was a teammate moment, and it was clearly shown it was a teammate moment. The way they talked, the way, they all basically cared for Blake, and They all cared for Blake. And Yang was holding the picture for all. She missed Blake as in the fact that she hadn't been there for a long time, and, you know, they were all divided. And the last time they were in a battle, obviously it didn't go so well for any of them. So, you know, when they were together. So that's where I interpret it as. You don't have to be, you know, someone that cares for someone so much where it's a romantic type thing, so to speak. And that's what Rooster Teeth did here, which I thought was really good, on their part. But that's not the end of the episode, of course. The next part of this episode, we have Blake. You know, speaking of Blake, since everyone was just basically talking about what happened to Blake, we have Blake in the next part of this episode. So Blake gets a note. Now, I really didn't know what the note was, because I'm not very good at reading cursive. I'm very bad at reading cursive. You know, unless if it's like really noticeable words. So I couldn't even tell what they were saying. I mean, it was further away, so you really couldn't see it anyways. But I couldn't even make out any of the words because, you know, it was in cursive. So, one of the things, you know, I was wondering was like, this is probably Ilia, I'm assuming. That's what I was probably thinking. Well, that was what I was thinking, and I was right. But, I imagined it wasn't going to be any of the RWBY because they're in Mistral, and you know they're in, you know, where the White Fang is. Blake's where the White Fang is. Now you see Blake, you know, go, you know, and you know, go to the spot, I guess, where Ilia was, and you know, she says, you know, she comes out of the shadows and she just basically says to Blake, "I'm sorry." And she says, "You can forgive yourself by, you know, telling me, you know, this, you know, about the thing about Adam or whatever." And they're planning. And then she's like, "No, I'm sorry." And then, you know, you see these two people, you know, come into the frame, you know, the Batwing person, or not, I shouldn't say Batwing, it's Dragon Wings, sort of. It's kind of a mixture, I think. I don't know. I would think they're more of dragon wings, but they come in, they basically, you know, tie her up with webs, I guess. And she basically talks about, you know, what happened and why she's doing this, you know, that she doesn't like hurting people, but it's the only way it gets results. And so then she basically tells her that, you know, you're going to go to Mistral, you know, where Adam is, so then they can just eliminate your parents, because your parents are the only threats to Adam's dream, basically, you know, of destroying the humans or whatever there. So, and this is what I was referencing earlier, is that Ilia basically says, you know, you looked at Adam, you know, but you never, you know, you never looked at me that way, you know, because I guess Blake and Adam at one point had like a relationship going on. And so apparently Ilia not only wanted to be friends with Blake, that she actually had a love interest for Blake, which I don't know if that's... Well, no, I think it's more because Ilia loved Blake because Blake was probably one of the only people that opened up to her. So, I mean, that could be more of a... That's more of a ship where, you know, it's more of a... You love the person because you don't have anyone else type ship. So, I was really surprised they did this with Ilia, that Ilia had a thing for Blake like that. I mean, that was a pretty obvious, you know, way she, you know, basically worded that, was that, yeah, I had a thing for you and you didn't basically, you ignored me, you know, for Adam. Which is kind of also weird because she's actually trying to help Adam, but she wanted Blake to notice her in a romantic type way. Like I said, it was very interesting that they went in that route for Ilia, but it sort of makes sense that she doesn't have a real anybody liking her type character. She was, judged by other people because of her face and stuff like that. So that's, probably why. But I'm very surprised they went in that. I'm sure the RWBY fandom's going to come up with a name for this ship, this type of ship. Though I doubt it's going to actually happen. I don't think it's going to happen because Weiss, or not Weiss, why did I just say Weiss? Ilia obviously is basically helping people try to eliminate her parents, so I'm sure Blake doesn't see her as a friend anymore. And if she does, then I don't even know anymore. But we'll see where that goes. But I'm not sure. It's just I don't know. I mean, I'm Black Sun ship if I wanted any ship to be canon, because I think it's the only one that really makes sense at this point. But only Nora, like I said, only Nora and Ren is officially canon as a ship right now, for all these characters. But yeah, so I don't know what exactly this is supposed to represent, but it is what it is. So, yeah. So, basically then, after that, Blake, after Ilia leaves, the two people are about to basically, take her away, and then she's like, now, and then, that's when Sun Wukong comes to the rescue, and basically saves Blake again. I'm sure she had that plan too, because just in case if it ended up going south, which was good of her to do. So then we got what's it called? We had them fighting. Sun and Blake basically fought off the goons. And then after that, Blake's calling the cell phone, or calling on her cell phone, because she knows that, like, they're under attack, or that she knows that they're going to eliminate the parents, which coincidentally they already were doing that, because the cell phone was on the table for Blake's mom, and she's behind a table, and the goons are shooting at the villains, and the soldier gets shot at and dies, and then, the mother takes the gun and she starts shooting, and she's like, get out of my house. Then you see Blake's father coming into the frame, and, like, he's, got soldiers too. They're dying. And then the two soldiers are basically like, now we're gonna get you now, or whatever. And he basically goes into, like, a beast type mode, and he's just ready to go. And that's basically where it ends, Will Sun and Blake get to their parents in time? I don't know, but I do know that this was definitely an interesting episode. Like I said, the whole, the characters, Weiss, RWBY, and Yang, all depressed, and they still don't have Blake there. Wondering where they're gonna go. I did for a brief moment when Blake, when they had said Blake was going to go to Mistral, because that's where they are actually. They had said, that, I was like, oh, well, maybe she is going to Mistral then. But then, of course, when Sun came into the frame and got her out, I guess that's not going to happen because, I mean, obviously, even more or less, they would have to, I would assume, stay there even longer now that their parents are getting ambushed from these guys. But maybe if the parents do survive this, maybe they will go to Mistral because that's where Adam is. So there is a possibility that they will go to Mistral now that Blake knows where Adam is, because, you know, Ilia had said that, you know, she was in Mistral, or he was in Mistral. So maybe she will go there now with the parents, assuming the parents survive, or she'll just go with Sun. I don't know how this is going to turn out. With now 4 episodes left, but I imagine there would have to be a battle going on where they currently are right now. But it is looking that there could be a possibility that there could be a reunion with the 4 episodes to go now that she has to go, that she might possibly have to go to Mistral to fight Adam. Now, one thing that's going to be interesting, though, is because right now it seems like Crow, you know, because from the last episode we had the villains, you know, Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury, that they wanted to talk to Raven. So, you know, I imagine there's going to be a battle going on there very soon, because obviously Raven's neutral and she doesn't want to lose the Spring Maiden, obviously. So there's going to be a battle going on there. So I'm wondering if they're going to, you know, fight them, or if they're going to just to go after Adam now, because I imagine they're going to be both in 2 different locations. So it's very interesting, and we'll probably find out more in the next episode what's going to transpire. You know, because they're probably now going to continue where they left off with Raven now, rather than, you know, because that's how they pretty much do it. They go back and forth from the 2 storyline plots. You know, that's what they do. That's what they've been doing for the past 2 seasons. So I'd imagine that that's what they're going to do now, is the next episode's going to be about, you know, the battle with Raven or whatever. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go about this next week, you know, and where the story will turn. You know, probably find out in 2 episodes from now on what's going to happen with Blake in terms of what will happen to her parents if they do survive or not. We still don't know where Neo is. There's 4 episodes left. Neo has yet to make an appearance. She has been confirmed to be in this season, and she is confirmed to be alive. So I am still wondering when she's going to appear, if she's going to appear at some point in one of these battles. It'll be very interesting to see where Neo will be. But overall, very good, solid episode. I'm very looking forward to seeing where they go with this. And let me know what you guys think about this episode. Comment, rate. If you like this video or my other videos, please subscribe. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.